Hey guys, Tyler from DuelcasterMage.com here, coming back at you with round 3 of the May 2018 Duel Commander Discord tournament. After a nail-biter of a second round, I managed to stay in the winner's bracket, and this time I'm up against Cyber Chronometer. Cyber is playing a really sweet deck, Kaseto Orochi Archmage. One that I wanted to brew myself for a while, though I kind of got turned off when WotC printed a bunch of Naga instead of snakes and Amonkhet block for some reason. Anyway, this is a blue-green tempo deck that easily gets around blockers due to Kaseto's ability. Luckily, I don't plan on doing much blocking myself. Cyber's Kaseto list is in the video description alongside my Adeliz list if you're interested. On to round 3. Okay, I'm in the draw, and I see a hand's kind of tempting actually because it has 4 1-drops, but only 1 land, and I end up mulliganing because if I don't get to 3 lands, it's just too anemic. So this second hand is much better. I got Stormchaser Mage, now I scry the fairy to the top, so I have 2 2-drop flying threats. He plays Path of Ancestry on his first turn. And pretty nice one here. All his snakes and wizards will scry him once he casts them. So he goes Ponder on his second turn, which I force spike, thinking that maybe he's missing a second land and he needs to dig for it. So I probably would have force spiked any spell there, to be honest, though. But he did have a land, and he follows it up with Birds of Paradise, so his mana is looking okay. I draw Remand, so I have 3 possible spells I can play here on his turn, and I decided to Remand his Kaseto, mainly because it's early enough in the game where I want to get that card velocity. He cannot recast Kaseto this turn, so it makes sense. I can mana leak stuff pretty late into the game. And Spellstutter Sprite, obviously, you want to save for a 1-drop if possible. He plays Sylvan Library, and I counter that because I feel like, I want to use my mana effectively, and that's going to provide him a lot of advantage over the course of the game. So now I get an opportunity to play this Stormchaser Mage, a card which is really overperformed for me so far this tournament. Just all of his stats are really relevant, and prowess is so good in this deck. So I'm holding up Spellstutter Sprite, but he does not bite. He does not play a 1-drop. He just passes the turn with a bunch of mana up. So I play this Spellstutter Sprite at the end of his turn, just as a 1/1 flash flying. I keep drawing lands, getting a little flooded here. I play this Adeliz. Now it's a pretty decent time for that, but he does have a spell. Not surprisingly, he has Venwer, Shaper, Savant. A lot of this card going around this tournament somehow, but. So I'm not going to get Adeliz right away, and I'm just 1 mana away from recasting her, but he gets Venwer, gets the Scry, Adeliz goes back to my hand, and I attack for 2. Okay, he gets up to 5 mana now, so he plays Kaseto, and is holding up 2 more mana, attacks me at 18. I draw a Delver of Secrets, and rather just play Adeliz here. It gets remanded, but this time I have the extra mana to recast her, so that's what I do, and attack for 4. So it's looking pretty even right now until he plays a Sword of Feast and Famine. Oh my god, this is insane when I'm tapped out here and a completely empty tapped out board. He equips to Venwer, just enough mana to do that. So he attacks for 6. I have to discard. I discard Delver, and he untaps and plays Jace the Mind Sculptor. One of the best cards in the entire game of Magic. So this is looking pretty bad. That was an insane turn for him. So, but he does Fate Seal, which I can understand because I have a lot of flying haste creatures. Bouncing my things doesn't make a lot of sense. I just try to ignore Jace at this point. I think that's my best path to victory. So I just attack in with the team, play Triton Tactics. This doesn't actually do anything except push another 4 damage through, untap some creatures. And I am holding up Shinka the Bloodsoaked Keep to first strike something if I need to, but the big guns keep on coming for my opponent with this Thrag Tusk. He's going to gain 5 life, go to 9, and that's really far out of reach for me right now, especially with being out of cards and flooded. And he untaps, and Fate Seals me again, but this time I have I have a fetch land, so I can shuffle that. Still has another threat here in the form of Tarmogoyf, which I believe is a 4/5. But the best I can do is shuffle my deck to at least get around that Fate Seal, but I just draw a creature. That's not going to be enough, so I scoop it up. On to game 2. Yeah, I think I just got out card quality'd there. I did have to mulligan, but it was pretty close, all being equal. This hand is a lot better. I got a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and 3-drop as a commander, plus Gitaxian Probe on turn 3, so this lets me curve out really well. I play the Soulscar Mage on turn 1, just a nice wizard 1-drop with a lot of stats, and prowess is really, really good in this deck, so nice addition to the deck. He plays Green Sun Zenith for X = 0, so Dryad Arbor incoming. Not much I can do about that. He's gonna get his turn 2 Kaseto if he wants to do that. And but I'm just gonna kind of try to ignore what he's doing and kill him as fast as I can. I keep drawing lands, so that's unfortunate. Cavern of Souls though is a nice one. All my wizards will be uncounterable. Attack with this freshly played Storm Chaser Mage, and of course he plays Kaseto, Orochi Archmage on schedule. Yet another land. I probably should have played a fetch land there, but I play Adeliz, and at least have a really good turn here. I go Adeliz and Gitaxian Probe, so I get all these prowess type triggers, get to see his hand and draw a card, so this is a pretty good turn for me. And I get Nimble Obstructionist, so that's another threat at least. I see a Ramen Up Hydra, a Repeal, and some lands, so not the end of the world. He plays Mutavault into Llanowar Elves, so it looks like he's holding up Repeal for my turn. He's not going to have enough mana to play Ramen Up Hydra. So I keep drawing lands, like I said, but he does feel like they need to chump block now, and that's good at least. He's probably living in fear of my instants and sorceries, more instants rather. He does go to repeal the Soulscar Mage at the end of my turn, which is a pretty good mana exchange for me. I can't recast it, so I think that's why he chose that. It doesn't have haste, but it's not that bad. He plays Ramen Up Hydra on his next turn. The relevant things here being Snake and Reach. It can block any of my creatures, but he does not know how big they'll grow to. So I play this Nimble Obstructionist at the end of his turn, just as a nice, solid, efficient creature, 3/1 flash flying. No need to counter any activated abilities. I'd rather get the threat out there. Alright, keep drawing lands, but I hope I can just kind of squeak across the finish line here while he is drawing a little bit more powerful spells. He's at 2, and he actually concedes there, because I don't think he could stop my flyers, regardless of me pumping them. So on to game 3, I'm on the draw again, and I see a really good hand here. I got a 1-drop, 2-drop, and hopefully he can play Magus the Moon on turn 3. But he's no slouch himself. He goes turn 1 Mold Adder, which is kind of like pre-sided aborted against me, I guess. Well, it is a snake, so it makes sense that he would play it. I play this Grim Lavamancer, and hope I can take out the Mold Adder, although I do really want to play Aggro Bolas next turn, and I'm going to be using up all my mana. I'm not going to have an extra mana to use Grim Lavamancer, so that's kind of why I block here. I just couldn't guarantee having 2 cards in the yard to shoot it before it got too big with me playing blue spells. So I really want to play this Aggro on turn 2, so that's what I do. And looks like he fetches in response and then plays Counterspell. Just good old-fashioned Counterspell. We'll take out the Aggro Bolas, but that's alright. I feel like I've missed with that card way more than I've hit anyway, even despite having all these instants and sorceries in my deck. And he plays Lore Skill Coatl. Really cool card. Not many people play it. And in fact, I actually decided to counter it here because, specifically because he has no basic lands. So I know that if I counter this and I drop this Magus of the Moon, he might be stuck without it being able to play any threat for the rest of the game. So I kind of go for the free win here, even though it cost me a 2-for-1 with the Force of Will last turn. So play this cheeseball card, Magus of the Moon. Also happens to be a wizard, so I can justify it that way, right? He does have a basic land into Ronas. So Ronas, I guess, is a card. I mean, it's not a creature right now. And the only way he's going to be able to make it into a creature is if he is able to cast anything else, which is not guaranteed. So I play Adeliz, and now I have a pretty good clock going here. I have 4 damage a turn. Not really much to do besides maybe pump them with Artful Dodge, but I just keep attacking for 4. He once again just kind of has to pass the turn, so I keep getting flooded, doing a lot of flooding, but he can't actually cast any spells. So until he gets this Shiato Whispering Hunter, which is a really cool card. Not that great, but it does have a lot of synergy with Kaseto. I'll give him that. On my turn, I draw this Renegade Tactics, which is kind of a perfect card here. It pumps my team, and it makes it so Shiato is unable to block. And it's just gonna have to sacrifice itself to itself next turn, but doesn't look like there's gonna be a next turn because I draw Gitu Lava Runner, and I had another sorcery anyway, but this kind of is the nail in the coffin. He knows he's gonna die, so he concedes. Well, a win's a win, as they say, even if you have to cheese it out through Blood Moon effects. My next round opponent is Danzir, coming up shortly, so don't forget to subscribe to get notified when that's posted. Thanks for watching.